Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please hit the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel. Like, share, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. Today, we are going to be talking about the strategic thinking of Carl von Clausewitz. The strategic thinking of Carl von Clausewitz. Okay, so now, Karl von Clausewitz was a Prussian general, and he was born on June 1, 1780, and died on the 16th of November 1831. Okay, he got enlisted into the Prussian Germany army, okay, or German army in 1792, and in 1793 to 1795 he took part in the campaigns of the first coalition against revolutionary French. Okay, he was a general and thinker whose work, the name of his work, that is the title of his work, is On War, and it is published in 1832. And that work has become the most respected classics on military strategy. Now, what are his views in this his work on war? What are his views? Some people say it is actually his political thoughts. Okay, some people tell you it is actually his military strategy. But the military strategy, on war can actually be summarized as follows. Number one is rationality of war. Rationality of war. According to him, okay, war is not a senseless activity. War is not a senseless activity. It comes to play when other diplomatic processes have failed. Okay, it is a rational activity that actually has political objective. So people don't just embark or engage in war. The reason they actually embark on war is because of a political objective. If there is no political objective to be achieved, then of course there is no point actually going into that war, in the first place. Because of course, war is not a child's play. War involves a lot of resources, both man and human resources. So, as a student of strategic thinking, what war are you fighting in your life today? What exactly, is constituting a battle in your life? Okay? So, those are the things. Yes, battle and war are actually different things altogether. A battle is actually an aspect of war. Your eye should be on the war and not on the battle. So at every point in time, ensure that your eyes is actually on the war. And every war that must be fought with, with a bigger picture in mind. If there is no concrete reason why you should fight a war, then walk away. Okay, that is number one. Number one thing is the rationality of the war. That's number one. Number two is war in its pure form. War in its pure form. According to him, war in its pure form is ultimately about killing people and people dying. So do not actually have any illusion that war is not about killing people and people dying. When you want to embark on any war, just know that it has to do with destruction of lives and properties. You understand? There must be people that will become the scapegoat, whatever kind of war. Okay, that is it. It is about, so the war in its pure form is about people dying. Is about, killing people and people dying. Okay, so that is one aspect of war in its pure form. The second aspect is that it is between armies, generals, and states. Wars are not between lily livers. It is between armies, generals, and states. Okay. Then the third aspect of war in its pure form is that it is an instrument of policy. Okay, there must be a motive because it is not a senseless activity. You must have a motive while you are fighting the war, and after the war you must actually get, a concrete objective while you have fought that war. Okay, so, and the last part of it is that war is a social activity. It's also a social activity. So as you're moving ahead, you know that war is actually a social activity. That is his second idea of, military strategy, to prosecute the war. The third strategy is trinity concept of war. According to him, there are three major factors that must be put into consideration before a war can be fought and won. Okay, now he talked about the trinity, a lot of trinities. One is violence, hatred, and enmity. So you must actually have enmity first. Okay, after that you go into hatred. After hatred you now go into violence. Okay, then we also have passion, okay, probability, and rationality. So you must, before you even go to war, those three variables must actually be put into consideration. What is the rationality behind it? What are the probable ways in which I can actually fight and win this war? And then the last one is passion. You must have the passion to actually want to prosecute the war. Otherwise, you will not be able to actually do it. So the first component, you understand? So in its general category, the first component of the Trinity is the people who are full of emotions, and their animosity makes the state to fight war. Okay, the people are the first component of the Trinity. The second component of the Trinity is the military. The military must actually have a very good disposition for them to actually win the war. And the fourth aspect of the Trinity is the government. The government must be rational and calculate very carefully the rationality of engaging in that war before embarking on it. So that is it. That is it. So the first aspect of the Trinity is the people. The second aspect of the Trinity is the military, and the third aspect of the Trinity is the state or the government in itself. So that is number 3. Number 4, understanding the nature of war before embarking on it. I am talking about the summary of his tactics about military strategy. So the fourth tactics is understanding the nature of war before embarking on it. Under this, it is important to establish clearly the type of war to be embarked upon. Okay, because every war is unique. Thus, the strategy used in prosecuting a war may be different from the strategy used in another. So every war is unique. You cannot use the strategy used in this one to now want to use in the other one. No, it doesn't work that way. Every war must actually, you have to study the opponent, you have to study the weaponry, you have to study the gallantry of the military, you have to study the resources available, to the state and all of that before embarking on that war. And then the fifth aspect of his military strategy is limited and unlimited warfare. Now, according to Clausewitz, war can be fought with a wide range of objectives. Now, it could range from land to scarce resources, regime change, etc. But when your objectives are limited to all these things I mentioned, if you have a prize that you want to actually achieve from the war you want to fight, it means it is a limited war. It means it's a limited war. Once that prize has been achieved, once that price has been achieved, then the war ends. But unlimited war, on the other hand, is when the objective of the war, of embarking on that war is not tied to any specific objective. So you can keep fighting the war, infinitum. Okay, so those are the things. Now, the number 6 aspect of his strategy is rational calculus of war. Rational calculus of war. For Clausewitz, before a war is embarked upon, there must be a price tag for winning that war. There must be a price tag for winning that war. Otherwise, it is not worth it. Okay, so now if the price is what the means, that's the first question you need to ask yourself. It is the price what the means. It is the aim of the war that will determine the amount of sacrifice that will be put in it. Okay, so simply put, if the cost is greater than the benefit, then the war is not worth embarking on. Okay, what is the bigger picture on embarking on that war? If the bigger picture has nothing to write home about, then there's no point. What is the point embarking on a war when there is no concrete objective, when there's nothing very tangible to actually achieve? If you want to fight war based on pride, then there's no point going into it. Then the last one is friction. According to Clausewitz, friction is the concept that is more or less corresponds to the factor that distinguishes real war from war on paper. You understand? According to him, friction is the actual disposition of the war itself. Okay, for him, the sources of friction are danger posed by the enemy. Okay, danger posed by the enemy. That is one aspect of the friction. The second friction is sabotaging the enemy's effort. Second friction. The third friction is the difficulty presented by the physical environment. That is another aspect. Then the last aspect is the problem of knowing what is happening and then avoiding it. Okay, for the purpose of avoiding it. So those are the things. Now, it is actually very important that even as a strategic thinker, in all aspects of your life, there are wars to be fought in all aspects. But you have to look at the bigger picture. If the bigger picture is not worth your sacrifice, then back out. Back out from that war. But if you know that the objective of winning that war is actually what is going to transform your life, okay? Total transfer is going to revolutionize your life, then you can embark on it. Thank you very much.